What's up guys and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 87. We're starting today's stuff on the back of the big wins against Bologna and Sampdoria as we close out December here in the winter break and take a look at the league table once again. 2 games to go for the halfway stage, still in third place. Feels like we've been in third for practically the entire season now. 5 points behind Lazio and 7 behind our rivals and leaders Inter Milan. In terms of top scoring charts as we enter January, no surprises, Roberto is there, but seeing that Hudson-Odoi, Keane and Timmermans even, are all part of the top 25 as well is really cool. Gutierrez also leading the way in the assist title right now, and Mike is currently level in the race for the Golden Glove. So Roberto is up 2 ratings. I thought I'd show you his stats because he is having a phenomenal season right now in his first as AC Milan captain. 14 goals and 14 assists in this Serie A. He's doing it all as the leader of this team and up to 91 overall as well. Chuka made the right choice, selling Timo Werner and bringing in Gutierrez. Yeah, I think so. So we take a look at the budget as the January window arrives and see our fixtures to start 2027. How time flies. Massive game to start off with Lazio away, then Venice at home. Sampdoria in the Coppa Italia round of 16. Spezia, Atalanta, and then hosting Atalanta as well. I think it's Atalanta twice. Sorry, Spezia, Sassuolo, and then Atalanta, the final game of January. That one coming at home. But yeah, entering January with the £1 million in the budget, the only way we're going to make signings is, of course, if we make sales. At the moment, whilst our form has been relatively inconsistent since the season began, I think these first few weeks of January are going to make me decide whether I should make a big decision towards the end of the window, towards deadline day, or keep the side as it is. This is a young team. It's a team that's rebuilding. I could still potentially cash in on Goretzka and Tielemans, but to be honest, I've quite liked them taking on leadership roles in this team. I think they've really helped steady the ship since we first arrived here at San Siro. So yeah, first game of today's episode, Stadio Olimpico away from home. Super excited for this. Lazio away right now in second place in the table, 5 points clear of us. And if we're going to get to Inter, we've got to get through Lazio first. You know, we're not even the second best team in the division this season. We're the third best. We've got to come through Lazio before we can even think about challenging Inter Milan. So heading into the game, my mindset was be in attack mode. You know, draws simply aren't going to cut it. We need wins. We had the ball in the back end early. Roberto denied by the offside flag was the right decision, but 23 minutes in, well, I was alluding to it earlier, Roberto's got just as many assists as he has goals. He didn't set this one up, but it's so good to know there's a supporting cast for Gutierrez. On the rare occasions I can't get him a goal, someone else can step in. Callum Hudson-Odoi's 9th of the year gives us the lead, a deserved one as well, with 2 minutes before the break. The hosts would battle back. You know, I've mentioned before, this has been a much tougher challenge than I was expecting, and this is a really tough first half as well. I felt I'd been the better team. With Lazio right now in second place, I knew this was going to be no easy task, even despite our very good start. After a really good first 45 minutes, so the second half kind of died down a little bit. There was nothing to report in the first 20 minutes, but 70 minutes in, a chance for us to go 2-1 up and restore our lead. Fernandez rolls it through. Gutierrez tries to chip the goalkeeper. Great save as he rushes out to the feet of Roberto and makes a stop on the Uruguayan. But the final 20 minutes, it was all Milan pressure. Lazio just basically giving me the ball straight back and saying, all right, come attack us then, because we'll take the point at this stage. We needed the win, and once again it was the same combination, but this time a different type of finish, and it proved to be the right decision. Gedson Fernandez once again storming in from the right, cutting inside, rolling it through past the back line. Gutierrez runs onto it, and if the chip don't work, smash it in instead. Rob finds the far corner, and we once again have the lead in Rome. It's a brilliant finish under pressure into the far corner. Great ball by Fernandez once again though, and Gutierrez with a late goal putting us in front, and from that moment on it was all hands on deck. 4 minutes to go, leading by 1 in Rome. Needed this victory against Lazio to cut the gap and keep ourselves in the hunt for, if not first place, then second place. 2 minutes to go. Oh, what a save by Mike. He's come under fire, mostly from me this season, for a few howlers here and there, but Giovanni Reina going for goal and denied by our French shot stopper with virtually the final attack of the game. Final score at the Stadio Olimpico, Lazio 1, AC Milan 2, we get a massive. You see the stats here as well. Lazio had a little bit more of the ball, we had a couple more shots, but the XG was very similar. Such a difficult game, such a massive challenge this with AC Milan, and I really do feel as though I underestimated this project. I remember coming in with AC Milan, you know, the new season begins. I know we've got a very small squad, but I was thinking, okay, after the initial 2 sales went through, we had over 100 million in the budget, we've got plenty of players here I could sell, you know, your Lo Celsos, Timo Werner, Neuhaus. I was thinking we'd have a lot of money to work with. I'll assemble a squad I like, and in the first season I was thinking there's no reason we can't win the title, there's no reason we can't win the treble, even though it'll be difficult, there's no reason we can't do it. I definitely underestimated how difficult this was going to be. That was a tough grind out victory against Lazio there, and we keep the pressure on, and we're saying to Inter Milan, we got a lot of ground to make up, but we are going to do our best to catch up to you. So yeah, big win there against Lazio, and that's now 3 straight in the Serie A. So following game, Venezia coming to take us on at the San Siro, right now struggling towards the bottom of the table, so this seemed as though it should be a banker, and it definitely started off that way. The first half belonged to Milan. We had the only 2 chances, and we took one of them courtesy of Gutierrez turning in his own rebound, making it 1-0 and giving us the lead. But 4 minutes after the restart, there was some bad news. Whilst we were leading and in relative control, Sandro Tonali goes up for an aerial duel and stays down, and would eventually be forced off as well. And 57 minutes in, still leading by 1 in a game where Venezia hadn't really threatened me at all, Perez leaves Fernandez in the dust, and that has got to be one of the nicest assists you'll see. Mike comes out, and I've talked about it. You just can't do that against the AI on Ultimate anymore. It's just an impulse for me to do it and try and put the AI under pressure, but they're just so much more intelligent this year. If you second man press or you bring the goalkeeper out to close down a tight angle, believe me, they'll find the open man. Cheeky little back heel and a great finish to make it 1-1. Venezia back on level terms. I was thinking, okay, alright, we just beat Lazio. Massive win. One of the wins of the season. We cannot slip up in the following game at home to Venezia, man. Gotta make sure we keep this winning run going, extend it to 4. Roberto taking matters into his own hands, restores our leads. He blasted into the top corner to make it 2-1. Our 9 minutes to go, a chance to make it 3-1. Wrap up the points. Keane sent down left hand side, rolls it across, and Timmermans denied by a brilliant save as it's the crossbar and the following shot blocked as well. So still leading by a goal. I was thinking, okay, after we got that second goal, the stuffing was basically knocked out of Venezia. They didn't really have any attacks since then, so I was thinking, okay, should be able to close this game out. Whether we get a third goal or not, 3 points should be in the bag. But in stoppage time, as Antiste receives the ball, gets around Quebec, plays it back to Alves. Quick little 1-2 here as they look for the opening. And oh, I just mentioned it a moment ago. I gotta say, he's made some brilliant saves this season. He had a stormer in the Milan derby, including a goalkeeper assist. But I really think Mike should have stopped that one. The ball came through a crowd of bodies, but it was practically straight at him. Can only palm the ball into the back of his own net. And Venezia leave it late to claim a priceless point at San Siro. Look at the stats here, man. Fuming after this. This XG of 3.8. Venezia's 0.5. But in the end, the same goals for either team. 2-2. Thankfully, Tonali's injury is just a 7-day one. So I was really fortunate to see that. We got quite a few good CMs in this team. So if one of them did go down, you know, Tonali or Tielemans, our normal duo, we got Goretzka, we got Maya, we got Menezes and Schneider, the boys we bought in the summer transfer window. So we got enough depth, don't get me wrong, but even so, Tonali's been classed this season primarily as a deep-line playmaker. But even so, it's such a frustrating game. And again, can you blame Mike for the goal there? I mean, in real time, I was fuming. I saw one of the replays, and the ball did come through a crowd of bodies, to be fair. But I think this goal here kind of made me think, do you know what? I shouldn't be that critical, because 9 minutes in against Sampdoria in the Coppa Italia around the 16 would take the lead, but I think it's just how goalkeepers are this year, and I've talked about it a lot in this year's FIFA. They're just really inconsistent, and at times really, really bad. Timmermans opens our scoring with a header, but let's be honest here, that was straight down the goalkeeper's throat. How on earth did that find the back of the net? I mean, he just went in slow motion, straight at him, and somehow nestled into the back of the net. Just really poor goalkeeping there, and again, maybe the reason why I wasn't as critical of Mike as I possibly could have been. Yeah, he maybe should have saved it, but I think that's just how goalkeepers are. Whether it was Mike or Jan Oblak or anyone you want, I still think as though goalkeepers, regardless of their ability, they'll all make mistakes in this year's FIFA from time to time. And to be honest, I'm not against it either, because whilst it can be frustrating as Gutierrez puts us back in front here against Sampdoria, second time we got a rebound goal in 2 games, maybe we'll take it. I think it's just how goalkeepers are, and I'm not against the mistakes that happen, because it's part of real football. You know, goalkeepers are human. They will make mistakes. And in a weird way, I do kind of like it for the realism. So whilst it can be frustrating to throw away points late on due to a goalkeeping error, it is realistic. It's going to happen from time to time. Not too often. And maybe it happens slightly too often in this year's FIFA. It's like long shots, you know. I'm so glad that long shots now are a little bit more effective to score and concede for them. I just think the rate of how they occur can be a little bit too unrealistic. I think, again, I talked about it before, the key for me is Keane wraps up the win here and sends us through to the Coppa Italia quarter-final. I think the key for me is all about realistic gameplay. That's how I do my series, that's how I run my saves. I want it to feel as realistic and as close to real football as what you'd see in real life as well. And I think sometimes, again, with EA, that can be quite hard to do at times. But again, things like, long shot goals being scored more commonly and conceded more commonly, and goalkeeping mistakes as well. It's a good thing. They just need to get the right sort of rate of occurrence, if you will. Still making it through the last 16 in the Coppa Italia. In the quarters, we've got Torino away in Turin. Juve have got Bologna, Fiorentina versus Lazio, and Inter versus Spezia are the other ties there. So Inter and Juve still in the Coppa Italia quarterfinals. Thank God Lazio have gone, but even so, Torino away. I've got to say, I feel very confident heading there. Looking forward to it, taking on Torino on our former career mode side. Such a fun save with them back in FIFA 15. Looking forward to that. We thrashed them in the league at the San Siro. I think it was 4 or 5-0. So certainly favourites for that. And a golden chance to reach the semis. Once again, we've been asked to win the treble this season. The likelihood of that, relatively slim. But if you were to say what's the most winnable competition we've got, well, it's certainly not this area. Whilst we're pushing Inter Milan every step of the way, it's going to be difficult to catch up with them. But the Coppa Italia or the Europa League, I'd personally say, now we're into the last 8, the Cup is our best chance at silverware this season. And I want something. You know, we don't need to win the treble in Season 1, but I want something this year. And that's a golden chance to claim a trophy. So, yeah, following game, Spezia, our final one today at San Siro. Aiming to get back to winning ways in the league after a disappointing slip to Venice. Took the lead early through Moyes Keane's 10th in 20 as he gave us the opening, and 8 minutes after the restart we will get ourselves our second. Roberto Gutierrez with another, going for that golden boot, trying to keep us in the title race. 2-0 the final score, and no such slip-ups here against Spezia. Simply put, cannot afford many more slip-ups like that one to Venezia if we are to win the title. So in this game here, I just played lockdown defense on Spezia. I thought I defended quite well against Venice, but in this game, I was like, I'm not letting get a single chance in this one. And then the final score, 2-0. And as you can see, 18 games to go, past halfway point now. The gap on Lazio is cut to 2, but we're still 7 behind Inter Milan. Second half of the season underway, it's still going to take a monumental task if we're going to catch Simone Inzaghi's Inter Milan. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. Big fan of fortune. Hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.